Assalamu Alaikum everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a wonderful day. This is one of the videos that I have been meaning to do for quite some time now, and that's just to answer some of the questions. So I've got about 7 questions to answer today, and some of the general stuff people have asked that came up a few times. I want to also address those things. But before we do that, I want to talk about 2 main things. And the first one is it really helps the channel if you can join us inshallah on the Patreon account, where you will get access to the spreadsheets that I use. So this type of spreadsheets where you can see overview of your basically things that you investing in. So the current portfolio, the dividends and dividend yields, you can see how much money you're making yearly and so on. And on top of that, you also have dividends received. You've got the data where you can enter, you can see your graphs and all sorts of things. So there's a lot of information in there with if you basically end up getting one of those portfolio trackers. That's for the UK and US versions. On top of that, you got the calendar, you've got the watch list, you've got the ETF tracker, and then you've got private Discord that I'm trying to build that are inshallah help the community. So hopefully like-minded people that will be sharing their investment goals, things that they're doing, how many stocks that you bought, why you bought it, and so on, rather than just me sharing this. And that brings me to the next thing, okay? And that is, I am definitely not a financial advisor. Although I'm asking you guys maybe to help the channel, it's just to kind of keep going, okay? I'm not giving you a financial advice. Some of you had privately messaged me, and every time I say something, I always say to you, make sure please you're doing your own research, because what I'm doing here is playing with my own money. I'm literally putting my own money at risk. And that doesn't mean it's an investment, basically advice. If I buy stock today, that doesn't mean it's investment advice. That means I think it's basically a good company. I feel comfortable enough buying it. Do you? If you are, then you basically invest your own money and take that risk. Because remember, I could lose today, and you've seen me lose money, right? You definitely have seen me lose money in the last few years. If you've been with me since I started this whole thing, you have seen me lose money. You've also seen me basically win some money too, okay? Basically sold a few companies and made some profit. And as you can see right now, if I actually were to sell everything right now, I would have made over £4,000 in profit. So alhamdulillah, I'm in a good position. But this doesn't mean it's just investment advice. So that's the really important part. And I always, even if I don't say it, if I come up today, 10 cheap stocks to buy today, whatever, that doesn't mean you go away and buy all of them. That means go away and do your research, right? That's just for me is from, I'm sharing what I think is out there as an entertainment purposes and education purposes. Because remember, the reason I started this whole basically YouTube thing was to share my journey, to help others, to show you guys what is doable. If you are focusing on Sharia compliance side of things, what is really doable? Because a lot of us get scared when it comes to the basically stock market. And I'm putting my neck out there. And again, am I basically a scholar that knows everything about stocks and halal and haram and all of that stuff? No, but I'm willing to learn. I'm doing my research, and this is what I feel like I can do right now. I'm comfortable enough to actually buy. A lot of you have asked me, should you invest in gold? Should you invest in? I don't know some of these things. I don't know the finance, basically the ins and outs yet. Once I got to know that, inshallah, maybe I can give you more advice on these things. So that's the second thing I really want to talk about. This is not financial advice. This is some random guy who's just sharing his journey. Okay, good or bad. So some days you see me lose money. Some days you will see me win some money, inshallah, right? But in the end of the day, it's my money, and I'm putting it basically in here to share it with you guys. The day you guys stop appreciating, you don't feel like this is actually for you guys, genuinely, I can stop it tomorrow and leave it completely. And I'll be honest with you, that will probably be easier, because for me to have a full-time job with a family and everything else I want to do in my life, inshallah, it's quite hard to actually maintain this. So I'm doing everything I can to kind of keep going, inshallah. And I hope I'll never stop. But I genuinely feel like if it comes down to, there are better places or better information out there, I'll come with you. We'll shut this down and we'll go together, inshallah. You understand? So if you're benefiting from this, just give the videos a like, subscribe to the channel, obviously. Tell your friends and family about it. Join us on the Discord, join us on the Patreon account. It really helps the whole thing, right? Now let's get to the questions. Okay, so I'm going to answer some of those questions that people have asked. One of the brothers have asked me and said basically, Assalamu Alaikum, brother. He's basically, just to kind of give you a nutshell, is a long email, but I just want a long comment. But what he said was basically he started recently. Okay, he has £2,000 invested so far, and it has been basically changing. Basically, it goes from 2,000 to 2,040, so he gets about £40 up and down here and there, right? So in between 2 months, that's what's been happening. So he's basically saying it's hard to earn basically thousands like yourself when you have done 70k to put in. Okay. Do you think your approach is still advised for someone like me? Now, although when I first started, and I'm sure some of you will remember that, it was about when I started this whole YouTube thing, I think I had about £20,000. And at the time, my dividends were like about £3, £4 here and there. Okay. And the whole thing was basically, it was up quite a bit, probably because I had Tesla at the time, right? But it went up and it went down. Did I care? Absolutely no. When you first start, that's the one thing you worry about. When you go on the red, it's a bad day. When you go on the green, it's a beautiful day. I need you to change that mentality, brother. Okay, and anyone else out there. Genuinely good days or bad days. What you want to focus on is the long trajectory. Okay, long-term plan. So when I started this, okay, 1st of May in 2020, right? You can see I had 1,000 something. It kept going up, down, up and down. So, but the most important thing, it was always heading the upwards direction. Although we have a bit of a correction in 2022, and you've seen what I've done in 2022, I bought more stocks, I put more money in, I maxed out my account for £20,000. I'm doing all of this, and I'm going to continue doing this, and I hope I can share it with you guys for the foreseeable future. Okay, but the most important thing for you and for me is that we don't worry about the price here. Okay, are you buying quality companies that you believe in that will be around for a long time? Take Cisco. Go, if you work for a company, go to their network team and find out basically the type of software they have, the type of basically networking devices they have, okay? And ask these questions about Cisco, okay? Find out a bit more. If you live in the US, okay, do you go to Home Depot to buy a product? Okay. Do you have Johnson & Johnson vaccinations in your body? Okay. Do you work in a hospital and use electronics devices? Do you basically, hopefully you wouldn't have anybody that uses their product, but Merck, for example, they have a cancer drug called Keytruda. Do you use Microsoft? Do you use basically Procter & Gamble products like Head and Shoulders? Okay. All of these things are important. Even if you look at your mobile phone and you've got Samsung, okay, there's a chip there this company makes. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're buying quality companies and you know they have been around for a long time, it's not some speculative company that just basically is going to disappear tomorrow, then focus on the long term. Don't worry about whether you're making £1 or £1,000 a day. Yesterday, this is basically thing, right? This, let me just show you, just this week, it went from £72,000 to right now £73,800. It's just in the space of just 1 week. So this can happen when you've got this sort of money. I'm sure, inshallah, in a few years down the line, when it's about 170 thousand pounds, it will be going up at least to £2,000 each, basically a day each way. Okay, it's on the red, in the green, whatever it is. So brothers and sisters, please focus on the long run. Don't think about the fluctuation of basically your overall portfolio. As long as you grow in your dividends, as long as you grow in your portfolio, as long as you're thinking about the long-term plan, that's the most important thing. And if you look at this, right, it wasn't not long ago that I was getting about £20, £30. Right now, I'm expecting in September, inshallah. This might not be the case, by the way. I bought a lot of stocks in it recently, but in September, I'm getting about over $400 basically in dividends, okay? And I want to continue to doing that, inshallah. So don't worry about the price fluctuation, basically focus on the long term, okay? So that's the first question. The next one came from one of the brothers, and basically they've said air product and chemicals are up about 18% for this basically year. You see further upside, or are you planning to book the profit soon? So Air Products and Chemicals is one of the companies that I own in my portfolio. I've had it for a long time. I'm definitely not going to sell any of my stocks right now, especially the ones I have feeling that they're going to basically be better, they're going to go up in the next 5 to 10 years. Okay, and that is what I believe genuinely. Again, do your research, but this is what I'm doing. Okay, Air Product and Chemicals, if you go to earnings, for example, and it estimates you what you would see, you might not be able to have access to this, but stop the video, have a look at this if you want to basically take screenshots or whatever, right? But this is the earnings expectation for this company. So 9% in 2020, September of 2023, that's when their fiscal year finishes. So about 10%. So there's about 23 analysts agreed on that. Another 23 is saying about 11% the following year, then 10%, then 24%. So I'm just going to stop up to the 15. So you can see almost double digits sometimes, okay, sometimes double digits, sometimes almost double digits. So for that reason, I'm happy to hold it. Looking at the revenue side of things, okay, from $13.3 billion in about basically 3 years, it should be about $15 billion. So it is heading the right direction. And when you look at this $15 billion, right, so let's look at this. So the low is basically 13. So they're expecting the lowest it to be basically to from the 14 to drop about 13, so not huge there. But from the $15 billion, okay, the low end is about $17 billion. Higher basically is about 20, but they're expecting it to be about $19 billion. So it is heading the right direction, and for that reason, their products is actually needed in a lot of the companies that have manufacture anything. They need basically the products is this company creates. Okay, so for that reason, yes, I'm not going to sell it, I'm going to hold on to it, and just to be transparent, I will show you I'm up about £386 right now, or 13%. I was up a lot more than that, I'll be honest with you. I think not long ago this stock was about 327. I think it was in December of last year. But have I sold it? No, it's coming back to that again, 300 and something. So I'm just going to leave it for now. I'm going to collect the dividends, and the dividends is actually quite good. Let me quickly show you for the amount of shares that I own of this company, how much dividends they pay me. Okay, so about £17, as you can see. I haven't added to this, by the way. Okay, I have not actually, from £10, okay, and I think I bought, okay, yeah, I bought 3 shares. So from here, £16 is basically been going up. So right now about 18, almost £18 the recent one. So that is the next question. Right, so the next question came from another brother, and they said, what is the star rating from Morningstar? What does it actually mean? And so on. And then they've said, basically, there's some companies that have a 4-star in Morningstar website, but tip ranks basically they have given a sell ratings. Okay, so let me just quickly explain, and I'm going to use Lucid for example, because one of the brothers have actually asked me, so I'm going to do 2 questions at the same time. Is a Lucid business a good business, basically, that, or do you think is they going to do well in the long run? That was the question. In my opinion, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. This is, yeah, I know Saudi Arabia's got basically stock in share in this company. It seems the next big thing, next big Tesla, whatever. But no one can predict what the future holds. But the way EV cars are going right now, and the amount of companies that are out there right now, especially the legacy companies, the Fords, the GMs, and all of these companies, right, and the VWs, the market is basically now growing fast. So I don't genuinely think this is going to basically be better than Tesla or any other company out there, in my opinion. Is it good business right now? I don't think so, because I had a cousin basically that bought a lot of shares of this company a while ago, made some good money, sold it, and then it tanked from there onwards. I think when he sold it was in like $20-something or whatever it was. So is this a greater business? In my opinion, right now, maybe not. You might have to wait a little bit and buy. Maybe I'd rather buy Tesla, I'll be honest with you, than buying this one right now. Okay, Tesla has proven, Tesla has actually got a positive earnings. So the 3 stars are telling us basically the stocks are undervalued at the moment based on the intrinsic value. Okay, 3 stars means basically it's actually discounted. So how does it go? 1 is the most expensive. Okay, so that means it's really overvalued. 2 is basically still overvalued. 3 is kind of fairly valued at the moment. 4 is undervalued, and then 5 is very cheap, is basically undervalued. So as you can see here, okay, you can actually learn a bit more about it. So 5-star from 1-star and so on. But the Morningstar, it's actually quite good website. They're very conservative when it comes to their valuations, but sometimes obviously out of range, whatever, but in the majority of the times. And I like the fact that they've got the economic moat, which is basically none for this company right now. So that is 2 questions at the same time. I hope that was helpful. The final question came from one of the brothers, and he said he was using Deidro, whatever it's called, that investment account, but realized it doesn't basically do fractional shares. He has about 1,500 basically euros to invest, and basically the best he basically he's got an ISDU, which is the US version of iShares. And he said, I'm not sure if I want to switch to trading 212 for more diversification, like your portfolio, and so on. So what I want to basically say is that I don't know anything about the other website, and I know they quite basically big in Europe, for example. In terms of all fractional shares, obviously you can do that in trading 212. I think your question is kind of asking, you've got the ETF, so you're thinking basically, should I actually do more of the basically stock picking? And it's not for everybody, brother. If that's the question that you're asking, I'll be honest with you, I do own that basically the same ETF that you have, but I haven't put a lot of money. Why? Because I really genuinely enjoyed basically buying individual stocks. Okay, in a few years down the line, I might actually get tired of it and then just put a lot of my money into basically a couple of ETFs, maybe put in Halal, SPUS, and so on, and maybe it's a couple of other iShares and whatever is out there. But right now, I actually genuinely enjoy stock picking because I learned so much and I get so much out of it. For that reason, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to basically carry on doing this. And even recently, I'll be honest with you guys, I considered actually selling this, but because I don't think it fits into my portfolio, what I'm trying to do right now. But to be honest with you, it doesn't. It's actually not bad, 8% up. Okay, there are some companies here that are not really even up to that. So a lot of the companies that are down right now, but look at this one, is actually still up about £70 or whatever it is. So I'm not selling it. I'm going to add to it and just going to keep it there for a long time, just to kind of see what would have happened if I actually kept it, and it kind of prove it to myself it's actually not a bad investment, if you like. Okay, but yeah, so in terms of stock picking, I do enjoy it. If you don't like that, just pick about 3 or 4 companies that you basically ETFs that you like, that have a different diversified companies. They're not over, like top 10 doesn't make up about 70% of the ETF, so maybe it's like 2% each stock or something like that. If you can find something like that, then definitely go for it. And then while you're doing that, you can learn on how to invest in the stock market generally. Just buy a couple of shares here and there, do your research, find out a bit more. I find it that exciting. I find it nowadays is actually, I don't do as much research as I used to do, but I really find it really fun to do these things. So I don't know about you guys, but if you're not into that, then just buy the ETFs and hold on to them. Okay, right, final thing I want to say is, like I've always said and I said at the beginning, all of these things I'm doing it for me, and I'm sharing it with you guys. So please don't take any of this stuff as a financial advice. I will try to answer more questions, and now there's a few more questions that people have asked in the last couple of months or whatever. I don't think I've actually done any of these videos or answered a lot of your questions recently because things are very busy. Sometimes it's easier for me to answer if you join on the Patreon. Okay, it's easy if you message me through there. I can quickly go in there and quickly type. Going to the YouTube and looking for questions is actually a little bit difficult. But having said that, I will do everything in my power, inshallah, to answer your questions if I get the time, inshallah. Anyway, I'm going to stop there. Have a wonderful day. Assalamu Alaikum.